If you're thinking about moving to the Austin, Texas area, I encourage you to watch this video first. As someone who has relocated myself, as well as assisted hundreds of families in relocating to the Central Texas area, I know firsthand that Austin, Texas, as amazing as it is, isn't your only option, that there are some amazing and even more affordable suburbs that you might not even know about. Hi, I'm Andrea Dubik, realtor and associate broker with Vista Real Estate, and today we'll be taking a deep dive into Austin, as well as a comparison of some of the other wonderful areas where I'm at, just north in Temple, Belton. Okay, it's no surprise that Texas itself has become a relocation hotspot. We have a booming job market, we have a relatively low cost of living, a high quality of life, and just people from across the country are drawn here. Texas has no state income tax, which is a huge draw. Now, one of the things that people aren't always aware of is that while we don't have a state income tax, our property taxes are slightly higher, but overall lower cost of living. When comparing Austin to more north, so where I am, I'm in the Temple Belton area, which is an hour north of Austin, Texas. We're right on the I-35 corridor, so it's a super easy route and access to get here. Sometimes traffic is a little heavier going down to Austin, but to be expected. Now in Austin, you have a higher cost of living with a median home price of around $450 as of December of 2024. And then in Temple Belton, you have a more affordable median house price of about $273,000. I'd say a lot of my first-time home buyers can expect to find a wonderful home in the $260 to $310 price point as of right now. So that's nearly half the cost of Austin, Texas. Now, weather. Texas weather is wild. I moved here about 10 years ago from Las Vegas, Nevada, and so I thought, comparable heat, it's going to be fine. It is not a comparable heat. Vegas is a dry heat, whereas Texas is more of a humid heat, but it's sunny a lot. The weather does tend to fluctuate very rapidly. Last week, for example, so we're in February. Last week, it was freezing. We had freeze warnings, and today we are actually hitting the 80s. So that's pretty wild. Winters in Texas are mild, with highs being in the 60s and lows in the 40s. And then summers are long and hot, with temperatures frequently hitting triple digits from May through September, and a lot of sunny days. Austin, Texas actually averages 60% sunshine annually. If you love sunshine, you can't go wrong with Texas. In Texas in general, Texans are known for their hospitality. This is kind of a funny story, at least to me. When I first moved here, my husband is from Texas. The hospitality actually threw me off a bit. I can recall driving down the street one day to our new home, and there were these people walking the street and they were just waving to him. And I said, "Do you know them?" And he said, "No, they're just waving." I'm like, "Oh, people just wave to each other when they're driving or when they're walking. They just wave all the time. You drive past each other on the street, they wave." That's a big one. One of my biggest draws to Texas is I wanted to be immersed in a kinder culture. And man, did I get it. I mean, Texans want to visit, they want to see how you're doing, and they really care about their community, which is really great. If you're in the grocery store, someone might stop you in line at checkout for 10 minutes just to talk about, your kids or where you're from or how they love your outfit. So just tack on a little bit of extra time when you're going anywhere. You are probably not going to be rushed. Another moment was we were in a restaurant waiting to be seated, and this really sweet older gentleman sat next to my husband, and they went in this really big long conversation about just family or something. And when the gentleman left and he was called to his seat, I asked my husband, I said, "How did you know him?" And he said, "I didn't know him. I was just visiting with him." And it took me quite a bit of time to get used to people just being very kind and engaged with each other. So something now that I absolutely love, but it was a bit of a shock. And people do say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Whenever I would go home to Vegas, people would say, don't call me ma'am, I'm old. I'm not, you're making me feel old. And in Texas, it's just a form of respect. And so no matter the age, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am is just the equivalent of yes and no. And that's really interesting, the very Southern ways that are still very prominent here. So what is it like living in Austin, Texas? So Austin is ranked number 9 in the US News Best Places to Live. And it is a metro area with over 2 million residents. So there are a lot of people there. Originally when I moved here, I thought I want to be near the city, but not exactly in it. I wanted to have access to amenities, but not be right in the city, just, same to being in Vegas. But Austin is a huge tech hub. It's referred to Silicon Hills. It has big companies like Tesla, Dell, Apple, Google, having a very strong presence in the area. So the job market in Austin is very robust, and particularly in technology, education, and healthcare. Now, especially when COVID happened, I found where I am in Temple Belton that a lot of people were relocating from Austin because it was more affordable, because they could have a $500,000 budget and get a much smaller house with a smaller lot in Austin, drive 45 minutes an hour north and get a much larger home, maybe on a bigger sized lot with a bigger backyard with a little more privacy. And especially when a lot of people were working from home, this wasn't a big deal for a lot of people. Or people, for example, who were only traveling to Austin for short periods of time. Having come from Vegas, driving 45 minutes in traffic is kind of a norm. And so 45 minutes to an hour of no traffic, listening to podcasts, or just enjoying your drive, that's worth it to a lot of people. Lifestyle and entertainment. So of course, Austin is famous for its motto, keep Austin weird. I can recall getting off the plane for the first time, and the airport even felt very just unique and cultured and diverse. And there was just a lot going on, and I loved it. I thought it was so cool. And a lot of people want to be immersed in the center at that. So there are so many cool things to do in Austin. You have Lady Bird Lake, where you can kayak or paddleboard. There's 351 acres in Zilker Park. There's just no shortage of outdoor fun. Other attractions, you have Barton Springs Pool, Zilker Botanical Garden, McKinney Falls State Park. And then, of course, there's nightlife and festivals. You have downtown Austin 6th Street with bars and dining and just nightlife hub and live music. And then you have South Congress, which is trendy for shopping, dining, iconic murals. The iconic mural, I Love You So Much. We also have Austin City Limits and South by Southwest, which are two world-famous festivals, putting Austin's music scene on the map. With a median household income of $98,000, Austin does have diverse housing options. According to TexasSchools.gov in 2021 to 2022, Austin ISD had a total of 123 schools, 71,000-ish enrolled, and an overall B rating 88 out of 100 with 13.8 students per teacher. So a lot of school options. Now let's talk about the Temple Belton area a little bit more. Like I said, I had thought I wanted to be in Austin. I rented for a little bit in Georgetown, which is about 25-30 minutes north of Austin, and then that grew very quickly. Georgetown is so cool, it grew very quickly. And then my husband is actually from the Temple Belton area, so we did end up here. Never would have thought growing up that I'd be from Temple or Belton, Texas, but here I am. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Now, what's going on here in Temple Belton? And the reason I say Temple Belton is there is a lot of overlap between the two. If you are trying to decide where to live in which, you can be in Temple and still be within Belton ISD. You can be in Temple and part of Temple ISD. I think a lot of it boils down to when you're here geographically, where do you want to be? Do you want to be closer to the hospitals? We are actually one of the largest medical hubs in the area. We're the largest between Austin and Dallas. Do you want to be closer to there? Do you want to be closer to UMHB? Do you want to be closer to the VA hospital? We get a lot of military who are moving to be close to Fort Cavazos, which is in Killeen. That's about anywhere from 25 to 40 minutes in Belton. There we have Wilson Art. We have SpaceX in McGregor, which is just 20 minutes north. We are 40 minutes south of Waco, Texas. So again, a lot of people will come from there. The closer that you get to Austin, being right on I-35 gets great access and ease, whether you're going to Austin, south to Austin, north to Waco. If you're going west to Fort Cavazos, Killeen area, really easy access and honestly very minimal traffic. Sometimes if I'm leaving, for example, to go to the Austin airport, I'll give myself a little grace period because it can get congested near Austin. But really along that I-35 corridor, I really don't hit much traffic and you don't experience much there. So Temple's cost of living is 4% below the state average, with a median home price of $269,000 was the median home price in Temple, and $309,000 was the median in Belton. And so when we're comparing school districts, I will say that I do feel that Belton ISD is slightly more sought after than Temple ISD. And so we can kind of find that in either Temple or Belton. And Belton ISD has a total of 17 schools with 13,298 total enrollment, total ranking being a B, 87 out of 100, just right around where Austin is, and 4.2 students per teacher. And then Temple ISD has a total of 8,395 total student enrollment with an overall C rating 77 out of 100 with 14 students per teacher. And again, this is according to texasschools.gov. And then now Bell County in general, Temple and Belton are both part of Bell County. And then you can expand out a bit to, Killeen, Harker Heights, and then you have Troy, Little River Academy, Salado. These are all some really, really great options if you're looking to be within Bell County. Overall, Bell County has a total population of 370,000 according to the U.S. Census Bureau, and a median household income of 70,000. All of which is kind of just highlighting that it's more affordable to live here. As you get closer to Austin, that price per square foot and that average home price does seem to go up, but it's a trade-off for being more immersed into the city lifestyle. Now, if you are looking for new construction in Belton ISD, there are so many options since it is growing so quickly here. Some hot new communities that I have been showing and selling and often will be Mesa Ridge, which is right off of 317, which is a main street through Belton. Mesa Ridge, there are quite a few builders in there. Flint Rock, Omega, Jerry Wright, Carruthers, just to name a few. Three Creeks is really awesome. It is on the way to, it's technically Belton ISD. It's off of I-14 headed out to the Harker Heights, Killeen area. So we do get a lot, and I feel an equal mix of people from working at the hospitals in Belton, because it's about a 20-minute drive, as well as people who are now working at Fort Cavazos, which is about a 24-minute drive. There are walking trails in Three Creeks. It's just very close to Stillhouse Hollow Lake, close to shopping. Lots of builders in that community. You have more luxury builders like Carruthers. You have more affordable homes like D.R. Horton, again, Stylecraft, Omega. And then there's a lot of resales. That community has been there for a long time. So there are quite a few options to purchase a resale home or a new construction home. In this market, a lot of those builders are offering insane incentives to purchase a new construction home to offload some of that inventory. I've been getting clients, all their closing costs paid for, insanely low interest rates, builders are buying down the rates. They're offering concessions towards those, appliance packages, throwing in blinds. There's a lot of really great options. So you have Three Creeks out that way. Hills of Westwood is doing some new phases in Belton. Groves at Lakewood Ranch, we have East and West. And then in Temple, Hartrick Ranch, Hillside Village, South Point, just to name a few. And then as far as outdoor activities, there are so many outdoor activities. You have Stillhouse Hollow Dam, and then you have Belton Lake. Tons of opportunity for fishing, boating, kayaking. If you love outdoor activities and you want to still be immersed in nature, you might want to consider Morgan's Point Resort as a place to live. I just recently did a video, Your Guide to Living in Morgan's Point, Texas, that kind of highlights this area. And you can get some lakefront properties. You can be very close to living on the lake, where deer roam your property really neat, and never far from, you're just never really far from outdoor activities and dining. We have plenty of grocery stores here, multiple Walmarts, multiple H-E-Bs, Target, Best Buy, Olive Garden. Downtown Temple and downtown Belton are booming right now with new restaurants and amenities. And I'm going to be doing a tour pretty soon here of Salado, Texas. Salado is 20 minutes north of Temple Belton, in between Temple Belton and Austin. It is a hidden gem. I absolutely love it. It's a golf course community. People drive around on their golf carts. They call it the up and coming Fredericksburg, which, if you are familiar with Fredericksburg, it's sort of wine country, and it just has its own unique feel. You're still about 20-25 minutes out from bigger amenities with getting that very small town feel. The biggest, this is so silly, one of the biggest complaints I've heard is that you can't get a lot of like DoorDash and home grocery deliveries, which for really busy families, that's a really big deal. So just a little thing, but I'll do a video on that one coming up soon. So you're considering moving to Austin, Texas, and are open to maybe some of the surrounding areas. Now what? Here are some tips to help you narrow down where to live. Write down your must-haves and non-negotiables, whether that's location, price, school district, size of home, maybe being immersed in the city or being out in the country with trees. That is really going to, and actually pretty easily, help us kind of understand where you need to be. Do you prefer city life or small downtown charm? And then set your budget. Knowing your budget will really help us determine where we need to kind of look at things for you. And then call me. Let's discuss your goals and create a plan. I'm here to guide you every step of the way. So whether you're drawn to the vibrant culture of Austin, Texas, or the small town charm of Temple Belton, Central Texas has something for everyone. You can book a call with me below. I'd love to discuss your next steps. And until next time, I'm Andrea Dudick, Realtor and Associate Broker with Vista Real Estate.